Hi, it's Faceless Tech. I've actually got a practical project for once, one that I can actually probably use day to day. I know normally my projects are a bit silly, a bit stupid, but I thought I'd try something different. I've got a TV in the garage that I use to test various stuff out. It's got all the inputs that you'll need for all the old retro consoles and stuff like that, so I like it, it's great. But I couldn't find the remote for it for ages, and when I did find the remote, it was a bit worse for wear. It's called Dog Bites, buttons missing. It was not great, so I thought I could make a remote that basically had just the essential buttons that you needed to work with. It does have buttons on the side, so you can control it that way, but I thought it's an excuse to make a project. This one's got 5 essential buttons: power, source, input, screen off, which is quite nice. It just turns the screen off so you can leave the actual TV on, because it does take a few seconds to boot up because it's got a DVD player built into it. And then it's got the volume buttons up and down, which is quite nice. I decided to go with a Arduino Pro Mini instead of a Arduino Pro Micro, because the Micro, even though it has the HID stuff to it, the IR library that I was using doesn't really like it at all, so I just went with the Pro Mini. This is why it's got this header on it, which is one of these GX12, I think it is. There's a 5-pin. There's like the aeronautical connectors. So you just connect this, and they've got that wired up to an FTDI board, so you can program it. And I thought use this header because it's about the size of one of these, basically these keyboard buttons. So it kind of like fitted in with the aesthetic. I also had a bit of feature creep. I thought I'd add an IR receiver in there, just so if I needed to reprogram this, I can do, because I can just change these keycaps. These are just 3D printed keycaps, so if I wanted to change, say this wants to get rid of this screen off on and off on, I can just whip it off, make a new keycap for it, program a new thing with it. It's got a micro USB-C charging, which is quite nice, and it's got this switch, 3-way switch. One turns it on, middle is off, and then the other way is just for the IR receiving, so you can plug this in, and it'll be only powered from the PC then, not from the battery, so you won't overcharge the battery. I did go through a lot of iterations 3D printing. I started out with just a basic case. This is just for the board to get the hole sizes and to see if it'll fit, and then I moved on to having little mounts for them, and then basically making the basic case with the cutouts on the top and bottom and stuff. And then I thought, I'll just add a handle to the side. This one had a bit of an error whilst I was printing it. Just thought I'd add the handle. And for the actual attaching it together, I used nylon M3 bolts, and then I made like a recess for the nut, so the nut would just slot in there, and then it'll just screw together, clamp together. I could have used like self-tappers, but I didn't have the right self-tappers on hand, and they look quite stealthy being black. I think, but yeah, it's probably my first like fully 3D printed project since I had my 3D printer. Quite happy with it, the way it turned out. But yeah, as usual, in the description there'll be a blog post with all the 3D printed files I'm going to give. I've designed this in FreeCAD, so I'm going to give them files as well if you want to have a look and play around with them. And other links to other things. I did steal the keycaps, I didn't design them myself, but I did modify them slightly. So yeah, as usual, thanks for watching, bye.